Every lick that we learn on guitar can be played a variety of different ways, and if you make it a priority to explore that fact, you can greatly improve your technique. Take for example the classic Paul Gilbert lick. That's a phrase that every SHREDDY knight in training has encountered, but there's a bunch of other ways we can practice it too, and they all yield unique attributes that can improve your picking hand. I made up this little etude here using the Paul Gilbert lick for you guys to practice on. It goes from A minor to C major. Every variation that we go through here is going to work out a different fingering set in your fretting hand and a different picking approach with your picking hand. It's going to help you become a better shredder. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben and welcome to a brand new installment of Weekend Wank Shop, the only weekly lick series called Weekend Wank Shop. In my opinion and experience, the more variations, the more better. Every time you unlock a new way to play a familiar lick, it's probably going to end up teaching you something that's going to help you in the long run. Let's take for example the good old-fashioned Paul Gilbert lick that I'm sure we've all played at some point. We got 3 notes on one string, 1 note on the next string, alternate pick it, lather, rinse, repeat. Of course, that's a great alternate pick in standard, but it's not going to prepare you for absolutely everything. If you practice that lick a bunch, you're going to get really good at outside picking because you're going from down, up, down to this single upstroke and then back to your downstroke, right? That keeps all your string changing going on the outside edges of the strings, from this downstroke to this upstroke and so on. That's great, but that's only half the battle because there's a lot of licks that involve inside picking, where you might have a downstroke on a high string going to an upstroke on a low string. And that's why it's really important to take that lick and rearrange it in as many different configurations as you can, like I'm going to show you guys in this etude. As you go through and play the lick in different positions, you're going to find strengths that you can lean into and weaknesses that you can work on in your spare time. Either way, it's going to get you chicks and money.
Chicks and money not guaranteed, void where prohibited.
As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on the coolest place on the entire interweb, my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today for all kinds of cool stuff like bonus lessons, downloadable tabs, backing tracks, and so much more. This week, everybody who supports my channel, even for just $1 a month, is going to get access to tabs to go along with this lesson, as well as a guitar profile and the practice tracks I made to help you become the next SHREDDY KREUGER. So don't delay, sign up today. Gear-wise for today's video, I'm playing my incredible Schecter USA KM6 Pro, one of the greatest guitars I've ever held in my arm hands, and I'm playing that through my Synergy SLO by Soldano. Now let's get picking. More differenter. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the A minor lick, which goes A, B, C, D, C, B. It's all based on triplets. Triplet, 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 triplet. You get the idea. Now the first way that we're going to play those notes is like this. So you can see that we put the single note on the D string, then we're going to play up and down the G right here. 1, 2, 3 times in a row like that right there. Now as you practice this, you're going to be practicing your outside picking here, going from this downstroke to this upstroke, from this upstroke to this downstroke every time you go through there. As you practice this variation of the licks, be sure to keep your first finger in a position so that it barely touches the D string. You can see I'm fretting the G string with my finger print and letting the fingertip rest against the D string. That's going to keep it nice and muted for every time that finger comes off of the string. The next variation is going to be a 2-note per string configuration of those. It's going to go like this. We're going to put A and B on the D string, and then we're going to put the C and D on the G string. It's a little bit more annoying to play. Now this variation right here is going to work out your inside picking. So see, we're going to go from this upstroke to this downstroke, then from this downstroke to this upstroke. You're going to feel your pick bouncing around in between the strings like that. Completely different feel than where we started off. Again, really be sure to watch that alternate picking notation religiously. Make sure you're starting on a downstroke and ending on a downstroke. If anything different happens, something done got f***ed up. The next variation is the classic Paul Gilbert style, where we're going to have A, B, and C on the D string, then the single D note on the G string. This is back to working that outside picking game again. It's a little bit different than the first way, where we kind of began by launching that downstroke out and under the G. In this case right here, we're going to spend a little bit more time on that D string before we have that single note launch upstroke on the G. After this, we're going to go back to the previous one, the 2-note per string guy. Only we're going to start out with an upstroke this time. So this is going to work that outside picking again, because we're always changing strings on the outside like that. But what I find extra annoying about this one is the first launcher pick stroke that we're going to use is a downstroke to get under the G string. Then the second one is this upstroke launch to get back to the D string. Watch my picking right there. You're going to notice the last note on every string is played with a little bit more exaggerated motion. With those launchers, as I'm calling them, it's not just a pick stroke, it's an elevator that takes me to the next string I'm trying to play on. So if we play those in order, we're going to have the top heavy outside picking, the inside picking 2-note per string, it's my least favorite, the bottom heavy outside picking, and then the 2-note per string inverted picking set. After this, we're going to go to the C major variation, which has us walking up the scale C, D, E, F, then walking back down E to D before we spin the lick around again. First way we're going to play it is like this right here. It's going to be top heavy, just like how we began the A minor parts. So you'll notice I got the C note on the D string, then the other notes on the G string here, D, E, and F. Same deal, use your first finger to dampen out that D string, that way it doesn't make any noise as your finger comes off of it. Up next after this, we're going to have the same lick, but in the 2-note per string position. It's going to go like this, C, D, E, F. And again, that's starting with a downstroke this time. After this, we're going to play the same idea, starting off here from the C note on the D string. We're going to walk up C, D, and E before we put F down there in the G string. And then back to the 2-note per string configuration, starting with an upstroke. So all together, it's going to sound like this. Now let's play that together a little bit more slowly at stepdad speed, starting with the A minor variations. also recommend practicing variations on top of that too. I'd recommend taking that to different string sets, you know, just find an A note on the B string, for example, play up the licks on that string set with the high E string, or down here on the low E string from its A note, whatever floats your boat. If you do it that way, it's really going to help you learn the notes on the neck too. You'll learn where all those A's and C's are on every different string, which is a good start. And of course, you can also practice that with as many different fingering combinations as you can. A really thorough approach would be to play through the entire scale, starting off on the A note with all its variations. Then maybe move up to the B note in the scale, play B, C, D, E, as many ways as you can. Then you find yourself at C, D, E, F, G, and then you're back at A again. It'd be a really great way to learn how to get all around the neck and work out all those different picking combinations here for your pick in hand. So there you go, guys, a great new workout to get you scooting across that fretboard and becoming a better picker today. Be sure to head on over there to the Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars to pick up the guitar profile and practice tracks and tab that I made to go along with this lesson, plus gain access to a ton of bonus goodies that you don't want to miss out on. All the cool kids are doing it, and good news, you're one of the cool kids. And be sure to put up a video of yourself shredding through this exercise over on the Instagrams and tag me at BenEllerGuitars. I'd love to see your progress with it. Thanks so much for liking the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but now it's time for your good buddy Uncle Ben here to pack it up for a good old fried chicken dinner. As for you, I recommend getting away from the computer machine, grabbing that guitar, and practicing your favorite hot licks with as many different variations as you can. Less clicking, more picking.